Welcome to the second Win Boxing Meeting. I'm your host, Rashid Hammond, and alongside,
It's your boy, Mr. Hit the like button, sub to the page. Caesar Fantastic.
well, today we have a very special guest in the building, ladies and gentlemen. We have no other than four-time title holder, middleweight title holder from the DC DMV area. Ladies and gentlemen, we have no other than Antoine Action Douglas. How's it going, champ?
It's going good, man. I'm feeling great, man. It's feeling good to get back at it, man. So things are going feeling where I feel good. So, it's good to be here with y'all.
Yes, indeed, brother, man. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you on here, man. You have a story, man, that's really could be a movie.
Yeah. In the future, we'll probably have one out.
Yeah, I think I can see it doing well, brother, because there's many stories coming up in the DC area, like myself, as well as C's from Southeast, and we know what took place during those days and what a lot of us have lost, or a lot of us had to struggle to deal with during that era. But yeah, man, it's an honor to have you on here, man, and I'm gonna pass it on over to my partner C's. Gonna get into depth and ask you some questions about your career and also about that story, brother, that triumph story that you got, man, the redemption story.
Got you.
All right. So first I want to start with, how did you get into boxing?
It's a funny story, man, because boxing is the irony of it. Boxing was never my dream. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, man, previously in my career, it really was never my dream. I was just surviving, man. I was a young kid from Southeast DC, and it was putting food in my plate. But I think the difference now is my dream. But I got into it because my siblings and I were foster children, and we lacked discipline. So it was given to us, presented to us as a form of discipline first, and we. The person who had put us in it, he knew that we could fight because our mother was like, she was known around the neighborhood as like the one who was strong arming everybody, and this was our mom. We were her children, so that he knew we had it in our DNA to be fighters simply because of her, and we were also fighting in and out of school, fighting each other. So he got to witness that, and he decided, let's do something productive with that skill y'all got.
All right. Now, so you got in, like you said earlier, you have an amazing story from birth, being born premature to putting foster care, with so much going on in your life, in your personal life. How did you maintain the focus of your craft?
I think I really just like, it was all oblique to me. Like it really didn't matter to me at the time. I was just kind of going through life. Life was kind of like on autopilot in those times. I believe that if there was something controlling my life or navigating my life, that it would do just right for me, and it landed me here. And I wouldn't, the spirit of the stars or whatever it might be, I think it's guiding me right. So I've always just, but listening to my instinct, and I think my instinct is really what guided, everything, the decisions that I made as far as, making the decision, what did I wanted to become and stuff like that. I think it was just my instinct that did those things for me.
So being from Southeast and going to Anacostia, how was it trying to navigate the pressures of the neighborhood?
It wasn't too difficult because I just knew I wanted to be different, man. In my family, I had gangsters, I had killers, I had thugs, I had guns, anything you want to name. I had that in my family already. So I just knew I wanted to be different. And I prided myself on being different. And it's funny because I often call myself an anomaly because when people see me, they look at the exterior. And then when I open my mouth and I start speaking, they hear something totally different. And it's like it's a young, educated Black man who's actually thriving to try to make better, make change and whatnot. So just being different inspired me to want to be the change and, make that change for my family and myself.
So were there any fighters that inspired you, that you looked up to?
I wouldn't say there was a fighter that really inspired me because watching a fighter on TV wasn't like, oh my God, this man's boxing amazing. He fights so good. I want to do that. Boxing was kind of thrown onto my siblings and I. due to more like his jurisdiction thing to get to to give us a station of discipline, an outlet. But once I got into it, Ali was the greatest of all time. So he definitely was somebody I looked after. Sugar Ray, I favor Sugar Ray because he threw a lot of punches. And my belief was, if I could hit you a lot of times as hard as I hit, I definitely was going to do some damage. So Sugar Ray was one of my favorite fighters. Tommy Hearns because he had long range. And I think my original most fascinating fighter, I think, was Roberto Duran, the Hands of Stone. His nickname was just, it stood out to me.
Yeah. Duran was a bad one. Now, how would you describe your fighting style?
Well, I think it's far different than what it was before. So I got the name Action from Patrick Harris, who was Boogie from the Headbangers Gym. Shout out to him. He's also in the Michael B. Jordan, the Creed 3 movie. Shout out to him. I got it from him because when we had first walked into the Headbangers Gym, we were sparring. And he was like, man, every time this kid get up in the ring, every round it's an action-packed round. He's like, I'm going to call him Action. And so they call me Action. So that fighting style developed in me, I think, through like more so of like fright and scare and fear, but like also just a second engine of trying to, I guess, like defend myself. I didn't believe that I was fast or strong or anything else, but I knew that I can fight and it was going to be scrappy. And once I learned how to do it, I knew how to do punches and slipping in defense. I know, okay, I'm trying to beat you. Can I curse on this?
Okay. Yeah.
Trying to beat your ass as much as possible. And if you can withstand the beating, then you've earned it. But Action was going to put some hands up on your ass, and that's what was going to start. I prided myself on throwing a lot of punches and making sure it was an action-packed fight, and the fans loved it too. So, but I think my fighting style now is more of a boxer puncher now. I like to stay on the outside and be more crafty and paint a picture. I think I see boxing more beautiful now than I did before.
Okay, yeah. It's a beautiful sport when you see it.
Like that. Beautiful.
Definitely. Now, you're making your return to the ring on March 11th.
March 11th.
Richmond, VA. After 5 years out the ring, what has it been like getting back in the ring and getting back in fight shape?
It's been fun, man. It's been beyond fun, man. Going around and sparring guys, and it's funny because when I've been like going gym to gym to spar, sometimes I'll show up by myself. Not a buddy to hold a water bottle for me or anybody. And coaches know me, so they know Action, and they respect me, so they they'll have somebody help me out. But I just knew that this time it's my time, and I want the world to know that there's nothing that's going to stop me this time. I learned the game. I know the game. I had my previous career, and I'm ready to have some fun with it, man. I'm ready to have some fun with it and make my career what I want it to be. I'm ready to paint some pictures, show how beautiful the sport is, man, and then get in the character.
Yeah. So I know you was going through a coaching change back in 2017. Who's your trainer now?
I've been training myself. I've been studying every day. I think one thing that I lacked before in my career, I wasn't studying, but also it's funny, a buddy of mine's, his name is Brandon. He's like, man, you know what, man? He was like, man, the coaches you had previously, he was like, man, your style is so different and you made it that yourself. He's like, man, they had a diamond. They were just trying not to fuck it up. He was like, they weren't making you better. They were just trying not to mess it up. And I look back and I'm like, man, you know what? Not to knock those guys. I'm never, not going to badmouth nobody. But now that I see what I've become and what I've learned for myself, from how my body is and how I can respond to certain things and how I fight, these are things that I've learned on my own, that I developed my own from knowing my fighting style and my capabilities. And I push fighters to do that. I think a lot of times coaches, their egos can get involved and stuff like that. And they can sometimes shift the fighter to a position or a fighting style that might not really fit them. So I think, I've been training myself. I've been coaching myself, training myself, working on things myself, learning things myself.
All right. So now, taking that time off and getting a chance to recover, relax and recharge. How does it feel? Do you feel energized getting back into it and embarking on the second half of your career?
Look, man, I feel dangerous, man. I feel dangerous. I feel like it's going to be some trouble. Like, I feel dangerous, man. I feel dangerous.
Nice. So what sparked your hunger to get back in it?
It's funny, man, but like throughout these 5 years, I've been like, doing me, enjoying life, traveling the world, and I traveled to Spain during the pandemic. And I went to, it showed me who I was. I went to a European country where they spoke close to no English, and I didn't speak their language at all. And I got over there, and I feel like I conquered the world, man. I was over there slaying dragons. Like, they loved me over there, and I was a complete stranger. I could be anything that I wanted to be over there. And I stayed over in Spain for a month. Wow. And I went over there, made some connections, met some people, did some business, man. And I got back. I was like, man, I feel young again. I feel like I'm 22 again. Wow. I feel like how I should have felt when I was 22. And also I'm 30 now. So the time from me being 25, where I had my last fight, in 5 years, I feel like there was a time where previously after my last fight, my brain wasn't functioning the way it was before. I was very articulate, and I found myself not really, words not really coming to par and everything. But I feel like, man, my mind is back. My brain is back. I'm reading like every day, and like I'm doing things that are like I'm on fire right now. And I feel like I became the man that I needed to be in order to pursue this career the way I want to now. And so I feel like now is the time. And like I say, man, I feel dangerous, and ain't nothing gonna stop me.
So is there any regrets from your earlier run that you want to change now?
I wouldn't say it at all, man. It's funny. I was thinking of things, and I always, like to sit and think to myself and talk to myself. And I'm a firm believer in things happen for a reason. Had that young man, Antoine Action Douglas, previously in the career, kept on fighting, I probably would have been in more damage. I probably would have had the time to reset and learn myself and learn the way I want to fight, and also present this, and also make a beautiful story it's about to be. So I don't regret it at all.
All right. There's a lot going on in boxing right now with Tank Ryan just being announced, and after they insisted on fighting each other next. You got Tank, you got Devin, you got Terrence Crawford. They're all taking control of their careers. How do you feel about fighters taking control of their careers in a management standpoint? I know you said earlier about the training standpoint, but
yeah, I feel like it's the way to go, man. Boxing is a dirty game, man. Like Andre Ward says, man, look, you just gonna pick your poison. And everybody says snakes everywhere. You're gonna pick your poison, champ. Right. Until you get to a point where you ain't got to worry about the poison. You be your own poison. You be your own downfalls. And I would say the one thing that I wouldn't say I have a regret for, but I kind of differ for previously in my career, was a lot of the decision making, or if not all, was not me. Now I just know if it's going to be my downfall, it's going to be my choosing, and through.
Like that. I love fighters taking a stand on their own careers. Just like you said, it's you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's me. It's my career. It's my life that's here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So let me say what I want. So I like that. Now, who are your favorite fighters to watch right now?
Let's see. My favorite fighters to watch. I love to study some Terrence Crawford. I love to study Shakur Stevenson, but he's tricky to study because what he does is it's like it's phenomenal, man. It's like it's a work of art in its own. And because I don't know how, but this man can go a whole round without getting touched. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So you can find, you ain't gonna find many fighters. You're gonna find a fighter way back when, and maybe the 16s or the 1800s or the 80s or whatever. But you ain't finding many fighters in today's day and era with all the talent that we have and all the growth that people have. People have come with the sport who can get in the ring and do that. So I studied Terrence Crawford. I studied Shakur Stevenson. I watch Keyshawn Davis because he's also phenomenal with it, the way he do the craft, the way he can get into the ring and move at such of his own pace and be very relaxed. And I watch all the old classic guys, man. A lot of old guys, a lot of very old school boxing, man.
You got the guys like Keyshawn, Shakur, Troy Isley, and those guys.
Isley, I also watch him too. That's my boy right there. All of my boys, but Troy, because Troy a dog, man.
Yeah, that's a bad boy. So how do you feel about their progression right now and what they're doing, like as far as their careers, how they're moving?
I think they doing great, man. I think Shakur ain't even nothing to be said about that. Shakur Stevenson, you mentioned his name, they know who he is. Keyshawn Davis, they also know who he is. He working his way up, and he also, man, he's a highly touted talent. You know what I'm saying? Troy Isley, he working his way up too. Strategically, he working his way up, and he learning too. So every fighter's growth is different in the sport, which we all know. But I think they doing their thing properly out, and also coming from the Olympics. They're like a trifecta, man. You got Cole, who came from the Olympics. You got Keyshawn, who came from the Olympics. You got Troy, who came from the Olympics. Those guys are progressing a great way, just as any Olympian should.
All right, I'm passing on the sheet, but I'm gonna tell everybody in the chat, man, hit the like button and sub to the page. That's my name, Mr. Hit the like button, sub to the page. See what you got.
Yeah, man. You was a trainer. You was training in the Alexandria gym as well, correct?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, man. What is it about that gym, man? It's a lot of. I mean, I'm a former fighter, amateur fighter, right?
Got you.
Over 100-some amateur fights in. Back in the days, Alexandria was the place where you was guaranteed a victory. Other than, I'm not talking the era of the 70s and
I got you.
80s, right?
And everything.
It was just suds and it was like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then they had a little splurt between our 90s and the 90s, you know what I'm saying? But y'all core fighters, man, it's like Olympians come there, world champions come through there. What is it about Alexandria that makes it, that brings that talent the way it do now?
And the funny, and I hate to be, I'm not like, so I'm not to toot my own home, but the reality is, like, when I came to Alexandria from Headbangers when I was training in, I've been out to a lot of gyms. I've trained up in old school with Buddy. Shout out to Dusty and, RIP to Buddy. I've trained up in, let's see where else I trained. I trained up in Fit to Fight with Lamont Roach and them. I've trained where else? I trained with Andrew Council and them. So I've trained in gyms all over, Headbangers with Barry and Boogie and them. I've trained in gyms all over. I've had work with all those guys. All those guys have worked my corners in like my amateur tournaments and, coached me to victories. But when I came to Alexandria, it kind of sparked a whole lot of championship type energy there. And I know, like, when I came there, Troy would say, man, yeah, I was heavily motivated once you came there, Twan. Even like Shakur told me one time, he's like, man, Twan, I came down here because, you was down here, you was doing your thing. And then it just snowballed. So we had Troy, who got motivated, started doing this thing. Shakur came down and started working with us down there. And then because Shakur was there, Keyshawn then followed. And then we got some other guys who were up and coming amateurs too. I think we got the kid named Bumblebee from amateur. He trains up in Alexandria sometime. We got let's see, 2 light-skinned twins. They also train there. I can't think of their names. But man, it became like kind of a melting pot of talent, and the talent was there also.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that I brought the talent, but I think it just needed that extra push, that extra inspiration, and then that whatever energy that I brought to the table helped Alexandria expound on it, exploring that talent and showing it what that talent was, because talent was there.
Yeah. And C's was telling me about how Troy Isley look up to you as well. And what you was saying about?
He's the baddest dude he ever seen in the gym.
Yeah, so I definitely, what you saying is definitely, it was stamped, and we researched it, and that's why I asked that question, because I knew the spark actually came from you coming in. Yeah, I wanted to hear from the horse's mouth,
Got you, yeah.
Explain that.
Yeah,
so,
and that's the fam too, man. Like them boys, they doing their thing, man. And I can't be any prouder, for real.
Yeah, man. Your record, man. What is your record again?
22-2-1. 22 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 16 KOs.
That's definitely, you still in the race, brother. You still in the race, man. You still in the race.
Thank you.
And it's some fight cards that we have around here, man. I think you should get on, man.
Man, I've been chatting with those guys. Jeter, Dusty.
Yeah, man.
I've been chatting with all those guys. We're gonna get it together though. It's just what you were saying.
When I post a lot of world champions when we interview and bring on here, right? Man, when I post you, man, it was just so many people reposting and sending it. I say, this brother, man, got a fan base for real, man. You know,
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, man, that's amazing, man. And your story, man, is a redemption story that's definitely needed in the DMV area. As you can see, as you look on the television, I come from the era of the murder capital days of Southeast DC, right? So you know, to survive that, and thanks to boxing, which helped me escape it, was through boxing as well. But to see a story like yours, brother, where you know your mother, the situation that happened where you all had to go into foster care and things of that nature, and to still be here to speak, brother. I didn't know you spoke this well. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's amazing. Like, it's beyond boxing now that I'm talking to you. I see bigger things from you, man. I see movie deals. I see book writings, book signings coming up soon, things of that nature.
Working on a memoir right now myself, man.
Yes, indeed, brother. And you know, we from the same mud. Man. And I didn't know you went to Anacostia. We from Minnesota Avenue, man. So you know what I'm saying? So to have somebody come from where we come from and to overcome it, it's a wonderful thing, man. You know that era. You know what it was like, man. And then,
thank you, man. Look, that's I tell people all the time, man. My high school, 4 years at Anacostia, we had 12 deaths, and only 4 of those deaths was natural. You know what I'm saying?
Real talk, brother. Real talk. It was vicious in Anna, man. That joint was serious, man. Yeah. So which part of that area is you from around there?
So I'm from my family like grew up in the Berry Farms area, but my family originally from the Conateurs, like Waller Place area.
Oh yeah, okay,
but
okay.
My grandma moved and lived in Berry Farms for a while. But I've stayed all over too. The irony of it, man. I've stayed in Wellington Park. I've stayed around the farms at some important times. Grandma was there. I've stayed around Waller, Conateurs. I've stayed around. I've stayed up like now around near Wingates where Headbangers is. I've been all over the place. But I don't see it's kind of hard to pinpoint where I'm from. And I never really repped the hood or anything. I'm from Southeast, man.
Southeast, man. All the hood joints you named, bro. You from the real deal. Ain't no. You know, somebody said they from Southeast. They in Capitol Hill. Now you say Conateurs.
When I was in school, we was in that Chopper City area. You know
yeah, that's why when I thought of you say Annika, you had to been in that Chopper City area. Yeah. I remember them back in the days that the youngest in our neighborhood had issues with them, that neighborhood or whatever. So, but yeah, man. When you turned professional, what was that I asked all the veterans this question. What was that transition like coming from the amateur to the pros?
For me, because I had already been sparring with pros and stuff like that, I wouldn't even say it was that difficult. I was excited more so because before I turned pro, I was working at Cold Stone Creamery. It's an ice cream shop. And I was working there, and it was, it was owned by an Asian guy and his wife. And I was living out in Burke, Virginia at the time, and they was paying $7.25 an hour, which is below minimum wage, but they can legalize that because they consider themselves a restaurant if you get paid plus the tip. And it's an ice cream shop, so you ain't getting paid much of a tip unless it's summertime. And I went out the back to take out the trash one day, and I seen him and his wife both had white Mercedes Benz. And I was like, they both got white Mercedes Benz parked out here, and they paying us $7.25 an hour. And I was like, man, nah, this ain't it for me. And my guardian at the time, who I was staying with, and I'm like, man, I'm ready to turn pro. And like I say, man, again, early in my career, man, I never looked at it like, man, this is the dream come true. This is my chance. I was just like, man, I'm about to get some food on my plate. I can make some money. I know I can do this because I'm a fighter. I know I can fight. And it was just what it was. I was like, man, let's do it. Let's make that, let's take that leap.
That's amazing, brother. That's amazing, man. Name some tough opponents that you think in your career coming up, man. Who was the toughest opponent you fought in the professionals?
Let's see. Tough opponent. I would say tough opponent will be the Av10 deal Kurt CZ dude, and that was a guy who I took my first loss to. And till this day, when I like people show that video, and I show people that video, like doctors and everything, because I had to go get my CT scan and my MRI and all that thing to get my license relifted. They was like, man, doctors are looking. They're like, man, he was on steroids. And aside from, even throwing that in there, he was a tough opponent, man. He was very short. He was very stocky, and he was very strong. And he was the first time I had ever been hit, and I could feel my brain shaking my skull.
Wow, that's crazy.
And like I'd been in camp with Andre Ward, and I'd sparred heavyweights, and I'd been hit hard before. But at the first time I got hit, I was like, damn, I could feel my skull shaking in my head. And I knew that I wasn't going to remember the fight.
Is he known for being a knockout person before that fight?
I think he was, and nobody will fight him. Like I took that fight. I took that fight. We took that fight on what, like 10 days notice. He was a sub opponent for a guy named Sam Solomon, who was Australian, who we were supposed to have fight. And we took that fight on like 10, 11 days notice. And I was like, okay, cool. He's an opponent. We know how to work around that. I know, and it's also fight time. I've been in camp. I've been starving myself. I ain't been, doing what I do. I ain't been having no fun. It's fight time, and I'm trying to make this money and also climb that ladder. So we took it really on unwise decisioning, and that was the outcome was what it was. But he's locked up now. He's locked up. He got the RICO. He's in the Russian mafia. He's like the lead party.
Oh yeah.
He got the RICO, murder for hire, casino hack, narcotics, kidnapping. He got locked up for the whole shebang.
God dang. It was vicious, man. Where do you see yourself 5 years from today in the sport of boxing?
I'm gonna tell you, and I'm not even big on like speculation, but right now I feel like it's time to drag my nuts because I've really been nice and I've really been kind. Like previously in my career, I was a nice, quiet, speak well, but I'm gonna fuck these niggas up. Like
that's right.
I want to fight. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not fighting, man. It's funny because my sisters, they watching the fight. They're like, man, bro, you need to fight again, man. They're not fighting no more.
That's right.
Okay, I'm like, I'm already on it. But I'm like, man, it's just, and also I want to just do it for me, though. You get what I'm saying? I want to go get in there and put on beautiful displays and talk some shit and entertain the people, man, and show them I want to switch the game up. Because I got a team of people around me who are a team of people who just want to see me win.
That's right.
That's why they're part. Like my coach is my boy named Fred Freeman. He moved down here from New York. And the difference between your average coach and him, coach, I trained him for 3-4 years on teaching him how to box and getting better at boxing. So he knows how I teach. He knows how I move. So him watching me do things, he knows how to work with me as a coach. Right. He knows, okay, Twan, this, that move, that move you do, this, that, right? So the difference is when he looks at things, he sees them he sees them for me, opposed to seeing them the way he wants to see them. Oh, do this, do that. So the understanding is there where I call him, he's my good eyes. I'm like, okay, come to my sparring, man, you my good eyes. And he knows exactly what I mean when I say that.
Yeah, he can see from outside. If you already training him the style that you have, he's probably see for you outside the ring. I know that feeling. Because you can't really see yourself out. You think you're doing this, but you really ain't doing what you think you're doing, man. I know, man. Yeah. My father used to be my trainer, right? He never worked my corners in my 100 fights, but twice. And literally, he would be yelling out the ring, and I still don't hear him, man. I was terrible, man. My brother, he could work all his corners. Do every combination he'd call out, he doing it. But me, I would do nothing he said, never, man. Yeah, man. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry I was like that, but yeah, man. Brother, man, I wish you the best, man. I want to come see you fight. I think we're gonna come to Richmond. Matter of fact, we stamping that. We be out there to watch you, brother.
Hell yeah, man. Let me know, and I can make sure let my team know to look out for y'all and everything too, man.
We'll do, brother. We coming. We gonna slide out there, brother. I wanna see this story become fruition, man. 100. I mean, world championships,
100. Look, 100. And the irony of it, man. People have always told me, I'm like, oh, you're gonna be world champ. You're gonna be world champion, and this. And I never believed in myself that much because again, I was surviving. Yeah. Now, I'm like, okay. I know it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't nobody stopping me. I know it, man. I know. Indeed. man.
And that's part of the that's what makes the champion. I'm right now studying some stuff about manifesting, right? And through that manifestation requires you to say it to yourself.
Man.
You have to have conversations with yourself. That's the separation between Floyd Mayweather and every boxer that existed. Floyd, I knew I come up under Floyd in the same time frame. We fought in the Golden Glove Nationals together. Floyd was talking world championship. We was talking Olympic goals, winning gold medals. That man was thinking beyond that. But it was a manifestation that he had about himself. And you got it, brother. I can feel it through this screen that you want world title on you, and you can get it, brother. You got the tools, you got the skills, you got the drive, man. You can cause some damage out here.
Will do. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, man. Well, it was an honor. Anybody that's new on here, all the people that's on here now, please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to our 1,000 subscribers ASAP so we can keep it pushing. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons as well as the notification bell. And so you can get great contents on here and listen to some of these great legends and future legends tell their stories like no other, man. Brother, you got any more?
Just want to ask, what weight class you in? What weight class you coming back?
I'm middleweight, man. I want to campaign still at middleweight. Like I'm at what 163 right now. I want to still constantly campaign at middleweight. I feel like I got some unfinished business in middleweight.
Yeah, middleweight. So it seems open too.
Yeah, I think it's a spot for you there, brother. Definitely a spot for you to take it. Take the spot. You know, ain't nobody trying to be given the spot. You taking the spot.
Man, taking it all.
That's right, brother. Hey, listen. First and foremost, you from Southeast, so we with you all the way.
Yeah. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? You know, we don't really get to represent each other like we should, man. You know what I'm saying? But you from South DC, one thing, Southeast another thing for us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, future world champion Antoine Action Douglas.
Thank you.
The second win, Boxing Media.
Thank
Peace.
Peace out.